What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Zaynomics Gaming. Today we are covering all of the latest news from Helldivers 2. This includes added content, recently added content, future content, as well as general maintenance and patch notes. Since my last video, we anticipated that mech suits would be entering the game at some point, and they have. The footage you see was my first time operating one, so please don't critique me too hard. I have gotten a lot better, but I haven't recorded too much of Helldivers here lately since we've been playing on Destiny. When they were first announced, I was a little concerned that they would be overpowered, especially if you watched my last video. I was just really concerned. I didn't want them to be too overbearing to where we'd be able to just obliterate all the enemies, but that isn't the case. They are balanced really well. They fit into the meta. They have caused some crashes. We will talk about that more when we get to the patch notes section. And just as a little tidbit, I will have timestamps below so you'll be able to jump where you would like to go. The patch notes are very extensive, so I'm gonna try not to make this video too long, but I digress. Like I said, I was a little worried about them being overpowered and cause us to lose the oh crap, like oh shit moments of the game, but that's not the case. They play very well. Hopefully there has been some leaks that we would be able to actually upgrade the mech suits and have certain different weapons and abilities that we could do. There's no confirmation as of now, it's just a leaks. So currently with the mech suits, you do get 14 rockets and then 1,000 rounds of the minigun, and then that's it. You're tapped out completely. And like I said, they play really well. They're fun to play around with, but they're not meta defining. Like, they don't break the game or anything like that. They're just a cool little novelty to have in there to help you during like crunch time moments or when you're trying to extract. And like I said, they're a lot of fun, but I'm hoping that we can upgrade them just a little bit. I would like to see them a little bit more powerful. They can take some damage pretty well, but other than that, it really just depends. I feel like they're a little bit weaker, the robots. And on the flip side, I feel like the mech suits perform a little bit better against the bugs. So it really is just up to you. But like I said, those leaks were true. The mech suits, we did end up getting them. Like I said, if you watched my last video, you can see that we did cover those leaks. Now moving on, there has also been leaks regarding recon vehicles, but these have not been added yet. We did talk about that in my last video as well. Now apparently there are some mods available for this game to include these things. It's like a mod to where you're actually going through and data mining certain game files. I do not recommend tampering with game files with these mods. You may have seen a lot of videos with people using different equipment, different gear and everything, but I don't recommend it. If Arrowhead decides to add them, they will at their own discretion. Other notable leaks include support NPCs that can be called upon and they'll fight alongside you, as well as a new faction that are called the Illuminate. They're like psychic aliens. They were in the first game, and we did touch on those a lot in my last video, so if you want to check that out, there'll be a link above. Now all of these have been data mined and should be taken with a grain of salt. However, mechs were data mined and arrived in the game, so at some point these other leaks could come true. Now we are going to touch on some patch notes. First and foremost, we're going to talk about balancing eradicate missions. Eradicate missions now require more kills and enemy spawns more often. The time to complete the mission was previously shorter than intended and should now usually take twice as long to complete. You did see one of those missions in the first part of the gameplay. Now moving on, balancing adjustments made to the following: the SG-225 breaker, decreased magazine capacity from 16 to 13, increased recoil from 30 to 55. The Punisher, increased total ammo capacity from 40 to 60, increased staggered force and damage from 40 per bullet to 45 per bullet. The 225 SP breaker, spray and pray, increased armor penetration, increased fire rate from 300 to 330, increased number of pellets from 12 to 16 per shot, decreased magazine size from 32 to 26. Also, the 422 railgun, decreased armor penetration in safe mode, decreased damage against durable enemy parts. The flamethrower, increased damage per second by 50%, and the laser cannon, increased damage against durable enemy parts, increased armor penetration, and improved ergonomics. Now these patch notes are maybe a week or so old, but this whole video is touching on previous patch notes, added content, etc. to current time, which is today, the 24th. So we did have some patch notes yesterday, and like I said, there will be timestamps posted below in the video so you can skip to each section that you want. Now, balancing adjustments have been made to the following: the shield generator pack, increased delay before recharging; the orbital 120 and the 380mm barrage, increased duration of the bombardment and decrease the spread. So you will have a longer bombardment, so there'll be more bombs basically, but they tightened up that spread so they won't veer too far off target from where you lay that stratagem unless there's a modifier active. So please keep that in mind when you complete certain missions. There could be a modifier to where the stratagem doesn't actually drop where you actually throw it. So just keep that in mind. Now, as far as the fixes go, I will have a link to Arrowhead's website so you can actually read all of this, or you can just continue to rewind this video and read them. I think the biggest notable here is Helldivers standing next to ICBMs, which is the rocket, during launch will get properly toasty with a chance of not so spontaneous combustion. So basically before this, if you stand next to the rocket, you were fine. You didn't lose any health or anything like that. Now you're going to die. So just keep that in mind when you're completing those missions. Also, too, I think another notable is fix certain bug holes, including stalker nests that were unnecessarily hard to destroy. I'm not sure about you guys, but I was having pain for some of those different bug holes. They just wouldn't be destroyed. Also, too, fixed anti-aliasing toggle not working on PS5. So if you play on PS5 and you're having the anti-aliasing issues, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it is what it is. They have fixed that. So like I said, I will have a link below if you want to check out all the fixes and everything else. We're not going to touch on each additional fix. Alrighty, so here's our current changes that took effect this week. So this is our actual current patch notes. Like I said, timestamps will be available. Balancing for enemies, the amount of heavily armored targets that spawn on higher difficulties, especially for the Terminids, have been a big discussion point online and internally. The intent is for groups to have to bring some form of anti-tank capability, but not to the degree previously needed. To that end, we have reduced the spawn rate of Chargers and Bile Titans on difficulty 7 and up. In addition, we have reduced the risk of spawn spikes of Chargers and Bile Titans. Please note that we have changed the distribution of enemy types, not reduced the difficulty. Expect other enemy types to appear in greater numbers instead. So before, if you were playing on level 7 or 8, and you'd be fighting about 6 Bile Titans, you'd probably have about 7 Chargers. It was very difficult, but what this is telling me is they're going to reduce those, but you're also going to see a number of hunters, probably some stalkers, a bunch of little big pukies. That's a new term that they're calling the fat green ones. I'm not even sure what they're really supposed to be called, but I digress. We are humbled by the community's ability to find things like Charger's leg meta in our game. However, spending your heavy anti-tank weapons on legs instead of the obvious weak points seems counter to expectation. We are not changing anything regarding the Charger's legs. We are, however, lowering the health of the Charger's head. It should now be at a point where a well-placed shot from the recoilless rifle or a EAT-17 instantly kills a Charger. Together with the unfortunately undocumented change of the last patch that increased the armor penetration ability of the less well-placed shots of the EAT-17s and the recoilless rifle shots, Chargers should now be easier to handle by well-equipped groups. Electronic Countermeasures Operation Modifier, which had a chance of giving you a random stratagem instead of the one you input, has been removed in order to be reworked and will be reintroduced in a future iteration. We found that this modifier wasn't communicated clearly enough and overall caused more frustration than excitement with the way it was currently implemented. This change was made in patch 1.00.100 but was unintentionally omitted from the patch notes. So they have removed the electronics countermeasure operation modifier, and you can see those operation modifiers before you actually select the mission. It will tell you like, hey, this is a modifier. So and basically what it's saying is it will give you a random stratagem instead of the one you input. It has been removed in the game currently and will be reintroduced in the future. Now they have fixed several missing text from UI elements, fixed several subtitles, VO mismatchments in news videos, fixed various crashes that occurred mid-gameplay and when deploying to missions. That happened to me a lot. I'm glad it's fixed and over with. Now we are moving on to known issues. Now, these are the known issues from the latest patch, which occurred yesterday. Now, we're going to read through all of these. Game crashes when attempting to use a stem while inside an exosuit. Pink artifacts may appear in the sky when setting off large explosions. Automaton drop ships, seemingly disappear and slides in after being shot down. Shots from arc-based weapons may not count towards kills and post-mission stats. Players cannot unfriend other players befriended via friend code. Cross-platform friend invites might not show up in the friend requests tab. Players may be unable to select a loadout or return to the ship when joining a multiplayer game session via PS5 activity card. The exosuit can destroy itself with rockets if it fires while turning. Text chat box display is obstructed by cinematic letterboxing during extraction. So these are the known issues as of today, 3/24. So keep those in mind when you are playing the game. I believe our next video for Helldivers 2, we are going to be going over all the new weapons and the new battle pass. And like I said, this video was mainly for the new news, the overview of the exosuits and the latest patch notes and the latest leaks. So yeah, our next video will be covering all the new weapons that they have received inside of Helldivers 2. And then as far as my next actual video will be for Destiny 2, we will be reviewing Prosecutor and Amit AR2. That's going to be like a verse style video, strengths and weaknesses, which weapon's the best. And we also have to review the Summoner, the Adept version, and the Prophet Adept version, what roles you should be going for if you're grinding those weapons. And the Prosecutor, the Prophet, the Summoner, those are very important weapons because in the final shape, we will have access to get enhanced traits. So the traits that you actually roll the weapon with, you'll be able to enhance them and make the weapon even better than it already is. My name is James from Zegnomics Gaming. I appreciate all of you for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you like this type of content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's a free way to support me and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below on what you guys are thinking of Helldivers 2, what you would like to see in the game next. Also, too, you can ping me a comment on what videos you would like to see next as well. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.